Welcome to Count It Off with your host, Jeff Dayton, where we explore the world of music through the eyes of some fascinating guests. So, get tuned up and let's count it off.
All right. Hey, I'm Jeff Dayton. I'm your friend in Nashville with Count It Off podcast here. And we're going to put together a show of people remembering Glen Campbell in honor of what would have been his 89th birthday, April 22nd. We've got a wonderful bunch of interviews, and we're going to start off, first of all, with his oldest daughter, Debby, who used to tour with us. This is Debby Campbell. All right, I am on the phone with none other than Glen's oldest daughter, Debby Campbell. Hi, Debby.
Hi, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and we're doing this to honor your dad on his birthday tonight, April 22nd. He would be 89 years old this year. Is that right?
89, yep.
Wow. Let's talk about some of your early memories of your dad.
Well, a lot of it, I remember them picking me up when I was probably in my 7, 8, 9. They'd come through Roswell, New Mexico and pick me up, and we'd carry on to Arkansas in the station wagon, and Dad and I'd be sitting there playing gin. A lot of gin. I played a lot of gin with Dad. Yeah, and then I remember, when my stepfather got stationed over in England, Dad would come over to England and do a lot of shows. And every time he'd come over, he'd send a car for me and I'd go down and spend the time with him that he was there. Got to go on tour with him and Anne Murray at one point over there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And yeah. I mean, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I remember Hawaii with Jerry Reed and his family and Dad and all of us, Billy and the kids. The closer ones I probably, that I got one-on-one time was when I started singing with them. And that really cemented, gosh, wow. We both got to know each other a lot more.
Gosh, so you guys match so well.
Yeah, Burning Bridges, first song I sang on stage with Dad, yeah.
Yeah, you guys did that a lot.
Right, and I never really thought I could do harmony, He goes, honey, you know how to do it. You harmonize better with me than Cher did. And I'm just like, what? Are you kidding me? I guess it just must be the family gene. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, he called it genal harmony. Do you remember that?
Exactly.
Yeah. Early on, there's some video, and I'm glad that people have dug this up, but there's video of us doing the roundup at North Phoenix Baptist, and your grandma came out and sang with your dad.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
That silver-haired awesome. Daddy of mine. You remember that?
Yeah. That's where all this gene started, was with Grandma and Grandpa Campbell.
Wow.
So much fun.
You had a special role on the road, too, because I remember when you were out there with us, you were kind of like your dad's attendant as well as his daughter.
Well, he would say that I was his personal maid. A personal, yeah.
Not the term you would have chosen.
He'd say you could get a singer anywhere, but a personal maid, no, that's special.
That sounds like him.
I know.
Yeah.
He did. He'd crack me up, some of the things that would come out of his mouth. And I remember when one of the first times I went and saw him in the memory care facility, he goes, honey, what room are you in?
Oh.
I said, Dad, I'm right next door. They just don't have adjoining rooms, But he just thought we were in a hotel on the road,
That was the feeling I got too, that he was restless and it was showtime and he couldn't wait to go. Yeah.
And he just thought the whole place was his, like it was his house. Probably that's why he had a little scuff with some of the people in there because, he'd go in their room and he was something else. I sure miss him every day.
I know you do. I know, like nobody's business. I brought a guitar with me, one that I don't have any longer, but I brought it in and I let him play it, and he played it some. He couldn't play as well as he used to, but he was still all right. And then he looks down at it, he goes, oh, this is nice. Which one of my guitars is this?
Yeah, that sounds just like him. I loved going, especially with Kevin Lemons. He would go in with Dad. He'd bring guitars for Dad, and they would sit and jam, and it just was great. It was so much fun.
Kevin was a devoted friend. I think he had transcended fan a long time ago, When you're standing out there and there's a house, the house is packed and there's people cheering, he calls your name and you walk out there. What's going through your mind?
I'm just happy to be out there with my dad. I'm just, I was shy, but not shy. every time I got on stage, I felt nervous, and I still do to this day. It's just something in me,
Probably a good thing.
Like I don't. Is it like maybe I don't belong or something? I don't know what it is. But when I'm out there talking to all the fans and selling Dad CDs during halftime and after the shows, I was with ease because I was doing something for Dad. It just was with ease, And he said, I'm going to get me one of them stamps that just stamps the CDs. I go, Dad, the day that you get a stamp to put on your CD with your signature is the day I stop selling them for you. So he signed them from then on.
Yeah. And, Debbie, because of all those years that we toured together, you probably got to see more of your dad than the kids at home did because he wasn't home.
I did.
You think about that one year we were in Branson, we got there in April and we didn't finish until Christmas. And
exactly.
I mean, we had breaks in there, but we're out there full time, and he's playing golf and he's hanging around the pool. We're playing tennis. I remember
my kids
oh gosh,
too.
Yeah.
Because they were there, whereas
Jesse
Ashley, Cal, and Shannon were going to school in Phoenix.
Yeah.
So my kids got to be around him so much. The bus would drop him off at the theater after school. We'd all have dinner together. Then they would go home and go to bed. And we'd do the second show. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so the kids got a lot of one-on-one time with Grandpa too, which was awesome. And that's
I'm going to tell the story here because it should be about you, but I just remember this story from. We were in Branson staying at Point Royale, and it was nighttime after the second show, and we're all down there playing tennis, and the lights are on, and it's everybody in the band, and Roger's out there, and Johnny Barafato's out there with a cigar, and Roger's got a cigar, and the rest of us are playing tennis under the lights, and Roger goes, You guys are a disgrace to the industry. I said, what, Roger? He goes, you're all healthy, you're running around, and Stan was there too having a cigar, You're all running around being all healthy. In my day, we'd have been in the hot tub with a bunch of topless babes and a bottle of Jack. You're a disgrace.
That's fun. That's funny.
That is.
I love Roger was something else, man.
And Joanne.
Something else.
And Stan.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And
when everybody, all of them. And
Bill,
when Roger passed away,
and Holly,
Joanne sent me his, Joanne sent me Roger's Burberry long coat.
I want to just ask if we could close with this thought, and it's delightful to have you here, and thanks for honoring your dad with us. Of all the time you spent with him, and I know you were with him a lot towards the end, was there anything you wished that you had told him?
Told him I love you more, I mean, I did. I told him I loved him all the time, but just, I wish I would have confided in him more, probably. Confided, maybe that's the word. Yeah. Well, Debbie, that's wonderful, and thanks for being here tonight to honor your dad on his birthday. And we're all going to thank you, Jeff, for honoring Dad. Yes. Well, now you're making me verklempt because I loved him too. And when I went to see him in that center, and he hugged me around my neck, he said, "I love you, JD." Well, happy birthday, Glenn. Yep. Happy birthday, Dad. Happy heavenly birthday. You're always thought of, and you're not far away. All right. Thanks, Debbie. Catch you later. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Bye. What if it's over and our love is gone? We could say goodbye, but what if we're wrong? Let's give it our best shot before we give up. Then maybe we could fall back in love. If we had forgiveness the way we have pride, and we knew how to listen to more than one side, if staying together weren't tearing us up, then maybe we could fall back in love. Close your eyes and try to remember the magic that brought us together. Somewhere between those good times and now, we let our fire go out. So just for tonight, do an old friend a favor,
slow and kiss me like a stranger, and I'll put the tenderness back in my touch. Then maybe we could fall back in love. All right, that's the song I wrote with Glen Campbell back in the early 90s, and I brought him a lyric to his hotel room, and he put his glasses on the end of his nose, and he looked over his nose, and he said, "Give me your guitar." And there was no guitar on it yet. I hadn't written a melody or anything, and he just started singing me that song right from the edge of that first verse. It was magic and immediate, and it blew my mind. Well, we're going to jump in with some more interviews here, and the next one up is Glen's son, his oldest son, actually, Travis Campbell. And Travis, thanks for joining us tonight. Here we go. All right, well, I have Travis Campbell on the phone. Hey, Travis.
Hey, how you guys doing? How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great. I'm so stoked to be honoring Glen, your dad. You're the oldest boy of 8 kids, and how many boys and girls in the family?
Yep, there's 8 total, yeah.
So it's
Kelli, Kane, and myself are from my mom, Billie Jean.
Okay.
Dad was part of the Wrecking Crew, there in L.A. We lived in the Hollywood Hills, kind of down below. And then right kind of after Rhinestone Cowboy came out, Mom ended up cutting off the hill at the top of Mulholland, just down from where we used to live, and then built the house, that became the big house that we ended up living in. That's where my mom passed away. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the rundown is it's Debbie, you, Kelli, Kane, Dylan,
Cal, Shannon, and Ashley.
Okay, the 8 kids. So, okay, that'll be good.
Yep. He used to say he's in the production business,
He had a joke for everything, didn't he? What?
Yeah.
I'm sure that sense of humor when you were a kid, it was even very active then, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was. I mean, I'm not a comedian or anything, but people say I'm pretty jovial as well.
Well, we all love to laugh. We do. Do you have a favorite memory of being a young boy in California with your dad?
What I really kind of remember is when he used to play in Vegas. It was the International before, and then it turned into the Hilton. And we used to go there for the summers. And
wow!
And he would overlap. He would overlap with Elvis. He would play towards the end of Elvis's show, or Elvis would come and play the end of his show. And I mean, even as a kid, I was never starstruck, but I was kind of starstruck by Elvis. And then I used to kind of feel bad for my mom and for Priscilla, because when they would walk around, I mean, obviously they would have them kind of, away from the public, but when they would walk around the pool or stuff, I mean, it was just a throng of the girls, running after them. But,
oh gosh, yeah.
I always kind of felt bad for Mom, but,
yeah.
But Dad was great. I mean, in the house, before we got the big house, before the Rhinestone Cowboy era thing came out, it was awesome. I mean, I loved it there. I mean, I remember him there pretty much, this is before, obviously, he was on the road a lot. So the studio was just down the street, down on Sunset. I believe it was on Sunset. One thing that I didn't realize until I got older was that, because if I'm correct, and you can probably know this better than I mean, he could read sheet music, but he didn't read music. Dad, I mean, he played by ear. That's correct, right?
Yes, he said I'd never learned to read well enough to hurt my playing.
But what I find crazy is that he was one of the most in-demand studio musicians, and he couldn't read music. He just played by ear. I have a funny story that he told me, to where he was sitting there jamming away, in the Wrecking Crew, playing whatever track they were cutting, and he said the producer came by, looked at Dad, looked at the sheet music, looked at Dad, grabbed the sheet music and turned it over because Dad had it upside down. He didn't
even need it. That's great.
Yeah,
That's great. I love that stuff. And he didn't even need chord charts. His ear was that good.
Yeah. For some reason, I wanted to get in drums. I got drums, and then so I became a drummer, and I was lucky enough that I had Buddy Rich, come in and give me, some lessons, few pointers.
Holy moly, Batman! Goodness, yeah. And it's funny because you and Cal both became drummers.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And And it was funny because they always wanted me to play the jazz style, cross-sticked, with my snare drum. And I didn't really like that. So he'd come in and he'd, make me do rudiments, all that stuff, cross-handed. Man, as soon as they'd walk out the door, I'd flip that bad boy around, start rocking out,
Buddy Rich, I mean, you walked in some tall cotton, as your dad would say,
Oh my gosh, and then we had Maury Wills up at the house, the old shortstop from the Dodgers back then.
Yes, Hall of Fame Dodgers player.
Yeah. And, he was showing me how to hit, scoop up grounders and stuff. I mean, I was so blessed. And I still am. I mean, I think we're all blessed, but I did not realize how blessed I was at that time. I mean, obviously as a kid, you just think, it's normal. Your dad plays guitar, and again, it was a lot different when he was with the Wrecking Crew rather than he went out on his own.
Right.
Rhinestone Cowboy was one of the ones I was first aware of, but I remember hearing his songs prior to that on the radio. And it was always cool. Wow, that's Dad on the radio. And when I think you guys were playing with him. This was in, I believe, Biloxi, Mississippi, at a New Year's show, and we were there staying with Dad, and then I believe Kelli was down there with us too. Yeah, she was. Okay, so we're sitting there, we're all sleeping. Trudy and I were on like the king bed, and then Kelli, and then it really freaked Trudy out because she woke up in the middle of the night, and Dad's sitting there staring at all of us in the doorway. You know what I mean?
Man.
And he told her, he said that he was just in awe because it'd been a long time since he'd seen all his babies sleeping.
Oh, you know what I mean?
Man. And Jeff, I gotta thank you for what you gave to me of Dad's. I really do, man. I have it here, and the guitar that you gave me.
My pleasure.
I'm telling you, that means more to me than anything. It's awesome, buddy. I love you, and I love you for that too.
Love you too, Travis. And I learned that from your dad. He loved giving things to people, and he knew that it brought him joy. And he had the means to do any of that, but it was the sincerity that he gave it with. It wasn't like, don't you think I'm really a cool guy now? He did it from the heart.
Yeah, definitely. I got to tell you a funny story because Dad. I mean, obviously, you probably knew this, but Dad was very, very competitive.
Oh yeah,
especially in golf. And I think Dad at one point was close to a scratch golfer. Close to a zero handicap. I know he was very close to that. Because when I started playing golf, he was at least a 3, which is, for those that know, that's really, really good. I got to the point to where I was almost a 3, and we played a lot, there in LA and in Phoenix. I got to the point once where I was almost about to beat him. I was a few strokes ahead with a few holes left, and he couldn't take that. He did not want me to beat him, so he started getting in my head. He started getting in my head and just started, mind effing me and all this stuff, and then so I choked, I ended up, hitting some out. It didn't do that well. And he beat me, and I said, Dad, I had you. He said, you'll never have me, son.
That's good. I tell you what, as a dad, I know what that's like. Well, Travis, it's good to talk to you, and thanks for contributing to the show. I just wanted to ask something. At the risk of digging up some emotions, was there ever anything that you wished you could have told him?
Man, I think about that a lot. I mean, more that I love him, it was really hard towards the end. Because I think you got to see him a little bit, but, and for those of you that have had family or friends, with Alzheimer's, you're sitting there and it's kind of like in la la land for a while. But you're just sitting there looking at him. He's looking at you. Then all of a sudden something would spark, you'd see like not more than clarity come to his eyes. And he'd sit up and he'd look at me and he said, I sure love you, son. I meant that.
Oh,
gosh, even now, no, I mean, even now that gets me, I'm just glad, and I just wish that I mean, all the things that, he tried to teach me as a kid, and like the morals and the life lessons. I wish I'd have grasped earlier in my life. I mean, I do remember one pearl of wisdom that he says that I still share a lot. He said, son, try to lie as little as you can. That way you won't have to remember so much.
Wow, that's a great way to close this. And Travis, thank you so much. And looking forward to hearing the comments from the folks that are watching tonight. Again, thanks so much. Love you, brother.
Love you too. Thanks for letting me be a part of it.
And let's say happy birthday to Glenn.
Happy birthday, Dad. I love you so much. I think about you. You're in my mind all the time.
Way to close it. Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Travis Campbell, Glen Campbell's oldest son, remembering him on his 89th birthday in the spring of 2025 here. And here's Carl Jackson's song, Letter to Home. This was cut by Glen Campbell early on, just before I met Glenn. Carl wrote this song, and Glenn sang it so well. Here we go.
You might think there's some big reason why I took this time to write, but cards and letters, they've been too few of those. But I just stopped to realize how long that I've been gone. But there's a few small things I need to know. Dear Daddy, do the whippoorwill still echo through the night? And does the sound of silence squeeze the morning light? And have you caught the big one in the pond just down the road? I miss you so.
Yeah, it's nice to hear Glenn's voice on that Carl Jackson song, Letter to Home. In fact, we have Carl here tonight. Carl was Glenn's producer on his final record, and he was the band leader before me. Here's Carl.
I'm just tickled you're joining in on this Glenn thing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome. You are a busy cat, though. I was looking and trying to calculate. You started with Glen Campbell when you were, 19?
Right. He hired me. It was literally a month or so before. I can't remember exactly the day. I went to work with him in September of 72, and my birthday was in September of 72, of course.
Man.
And I had met him at the Ohio State Fair. But it was just 12 wonderful years. I mean, just such a great time. I owe Glenn so much. He made such a difference,
Oh, yeah.
He was so good to me, featured me on every show, no matter where we were. He would bring me out the stage, and I'd play a couple of banjo tunes, and then he would come back and we would play. He called it his bluegrass segment,
Mm-hmm.
He just was not only the vocalist of all time, and certainly one of the greatest guitar players, one of the greatest entertainers of all time. He was just a special human being. He was family. He was family, and Ashley being my goddaughter just means so much to me. I loved him dearly. Miss him.
He was an incredible human being, and the great among the greats. He's in the Hall of Fame among the Hall of Famers, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, I tell people all the time that, I kind of challenge them. I'm like, go online somewhere and find me Glen Campbell singing a bad note. It don't exist. I've never seen a guy with such vocally,
Yeah.
And he was absolutely amazing. Live TV shows on the BBC, and I go back and I see some of those things. I remember how we taped those shows, just one time straight live audience.
Mm.
And I mean, you hear them and they're perfection, and they have not been tweaked.
Mm. Yeah.
It was just Glenn's ability as a vocalist. And I mean, he didn't shy away from anything, absolutely amazing.
His pipes were awesome. I remember watching him come in after 18 holes of golf, and he just could kill it no matter what. Guitar and vocal, he was ready.
Yeah, he was. God prepared him vocally. I never saw him have a problem vocally. It was really, occasionally, all of us, we get colds, we get these things, but Glenn was like superhuman vocally, man. He was, call him a robot. He was amazing.
Yeah, he sure was. You know, we're going to spin a little music during this gathering tonight, and I pulled Adios for that from your contribution. And I tell you what, you know, that was towards the very, very end, and you did a masterful job. And the minute he opened his mouth on that record, I was like, Lord God, Jimmy Webb and Glen Campbell, here they go again.
Oh, thank you so much. That was asked me a lot about that album and how difficult it was to do. It wasn't that difficult. We had, believe me, we laughed way more than we cried, you know. And when we cried, it was happy tears. I mean, Glen was just a joy to be with, even at that stage. But he never lost his ability for pitch and his ability for delivery. He remembered some things. I was very surprised. Written Arkansas Farm Boy when I was with Glen, and we had cut a demo on it back then with Emmylou Harris singing harmony. When we started picking songs for the album, we were looking for things that he was still familiar with, you know, things that he would, you know. And I know you've seen him pick and immediately start playing the lick on "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right," and A Thing Called Love. Things like we wound up having to cut in things that he was familiar with, and I was that he literally remembered the chorus to Arkansas Farm Boy, you know. I mean,
yeah, and the same when I was with him, and you know, you had a current record called "Letter to Home" with him at the time I came along, and I brought that up, and man, he would launch right into it.
Oh yeah,
Dear Daddy. Yeah. I mean, that's a great song too. You did a killer job on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate getting to know you, and it's been fun, you know, hanging out a little bit here and there. And we did that one show at Douglas Corner that I forget who it was that put that together, and you and I got a chance to trade solos on "Gentle on My Mind." That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, wonderful memories, man.
Yeah.
It was, you know, that whole hiring process was it was just unbelievable, man. I mean, my classmates, I could show you today. I mean, I still have my yearbooks from high school, you know, and the good was huge at that time. I graduated in 1971, and I believe it's 5 different people make mention of Glen Campbell and the Glen Campbell Good Time Hour, and I never even dreamed I would get to meet him, you know. And suddenly there I was at the Ohio State Fair with Keith Whitley and Jimmy Goodrow and Bill Rollins and our little dress group, you know, and Keith and I went to the show, and well, rest is history, you know. I thanks to Larry McNeely, you know. I saw Larry standing there after the show, went over and introduced myself, and he knew who I was, and of course I knew who he was. You know, he played with Roy Acuff before, and I played with Jim and Jesse before. So we knew each other as banjo players, but, you know, long story short, he invites me by, you know, the next day, and then asks me if I want this job. So I'm like, wow. So all that stuff just came together. Like it was a God thing, Jeff. It was a God thing.
Oh,
and
it sure was.
So grateful and blessed to have been put in that position.
Yeah.
And given that opportunity. But, you know, Larry introducing me to Glen, and Glen, next thing I know, I'm on a plane to Australia.
You know, that happened with Tab Lavin when Art Garfunkel hired him. He said, "You got your passport? We go to England in 2 weeks," you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
we literally played 2 dates in America, you know, and then the next thing I know, I mean, we're headed to Australia.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that great? And Glen being there at that big concert with Haggard and everybody, he was there to say hi to the Hag, and I just happened to be the band that was on stage when he walked in. And then the next night, Nicholas was opening Desert Mountain up there in Carefree, Arizona, and there was Glen having dinner with Jack and I walked over to his table and invited him to sit in, and I guess that was 2 for 2 there, because he called a couple days later and said, "Guess what? You know, I'm ready to pick in my britches. How'd you like to be my new band leader? And you can take all the guys and we'll go out and do it."
That's great, man. That's great. Yeah, it's just being, it's like you say, it's a God thing, you know, being in the right place at the right time. And it was laid out by somebody way above our pay grade.
Well put, Carl. Well put. Well, man, thank you again. And, everybody's got a great story, and I'm so glad you tossed yours in. And so many of us want to remember Glen. And so this seemed like the right night to do it here on April 22nd. And, he was my brother, my mentor, my friend, my band leader, and just you dream about that. I was same age as you, graduated in 71, and I'm looking at the Glen Campbell Good Time Hour with John Hartford there, and I'm going, oh man, that's just the coolest. How many times, though, has somebody said to you, were you on the original Good Time Hour? It's like, how old do you think I am?
Well, it's same here. They thought many people, they still sometimes will call me, hey, man, I remember you on the Good Time Hour. Well, that was Larry. We kind of resembled each other back then. I think Larry's probably still got his hair now. But, we both had haircuts kind of about the same at the time, and so many people would think that. But no, it was John Hartford first, then Larry McNeely. And the Good Time Hour had just gone off. The final season had just ended when I met Glenn, and he hired me.
Yeah.
Well, I was never on the Good Time Hour, but I was on all the rest of the TV things for the next 12 years.
Yes, you were. Well, I tell you what, it's great. And we're going to share more stories another time, I hope. And maybe we can even get you to do a podcast when my show gets big enough and tell your story from start to finish. But man, I tell you what, Carl, thanks for joining us. It wouldn't be right to do this and not have you as part of it. So thank you.
I appreciate it, Jeff. And thank you for loving Glenn, man.
Yeah.
Because I sure do.
Yeah. Anything you want to say to the folks? You want to say goodnight to Glenn or anything?
Well, I know everybody in their heart feels the same I do about Glenn. He was just the best guy ever. It's just the best boss ever. We play the station in every Monday night here in Nashville, and I always do Gentle on My Mind and say thank you to Glenn for the difference he's made in my life. He just made a huge difference, and the biggest thing, of course, is giving me my beautiful goddaughter, Ashley, who I love dearly. And I'm grateful to Glenn and grateful to God for making that introduction, through Larry.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, thanks, Carl. Have a great time and keep doing the good things you're doing for the world through music.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Glad to do it, and God bless you.
Same to you. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you, Carl Jackson, for taking time to talk to us on the birthday celebration of Glen's, what would be his 89th birthday. And Carl was the producer of the Adios album. He was Glen's band leader from 72, I think, until 84. And he's also just a great guy and a monster picker. I'm going to transition into a song of mine about my friendship with Glen. This is called Long Slow Train Out of Town. His room is full of letters, photographs and cards. His old friends come to visit, but he don't know who they are. A lifetime full of memories are empty boxcars now, on a long, slow train out of town. He was marked for greatness the day that he was born. He knows that he was famous, but he doesn't know what for. He stares out the window while another sun goes down, on a long, slow train out of town. We wrote that road together, we cut across the sky, 1,000 towns he conquered, one song at a time. His voice and that guitar will put chill bumps on your skin. No, there's never been one like it, and never will again. Yeah, I loved him like an uncle, he raised me like a son. He taught me without teaching, just by watching what he'd done. And all that wit and wisdom caught a one-way headed south, on a long, slow train out of town. he played a golden lick. His eyes filled up with tears, and he said, "I'm sorry, friend." And I felt him reaching out, just like I was reaching in. That's my song, Long Slow Train Out of Town, that I wrote shortly before Glen passed away, about our friendship and about the final time I saw him. Didn't know it was going to be the final time, but it turned out to be. And especially proud of my daughter, Kelli Dayton, who's singing the high harmony on that part. That is mighty fun. In my family, she'd say, "Nailed it." Here's some remarks from Kelli Campbell, and then we'll wrap it up. Well, Kelli Campbell, how are you?
I'm well, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing great, and it's so good to have you here tonight to honor your dad on his birthday, and thanks for chiming in. And you and I haven't talked a whole bunch lately, but give me one of your favorite memories of growing up with your dad.
Oh, my goodness. There was just so many. Everything was a great memory.
Yeah.
I guess something that was really special, we were in Lake Tahoe, and we had things that we really enjoyed doing. Well, in Lake Tahoe, it was snowmobiling.
Oh, yeah.
We were racing with all of our friends and family, and Dad and I were on the snowmobile together. Jeff, we were so far, Dad and I, ahead of everybody. And they were so far behind us that, we knew we had already won. Well, Dad goes to swing around this curve, and we're going so fast. I went flying off of the snowmobile. Jeff, the snow was so deep, and I'm underneath it. And I'm trying to flag my hands up above the snow so that, that everybody behind us could see me down there. Well, Dad immediately whipped that snowmobile around, and he's jumping off the snowmobile, flagging his hands. But people were still, they were still so far behind us that we had time, and we were able to, circumvent them. But it was hysterical. We were very competitive.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like your dad, because he was that way on the golf course and on the tennis court. And,
with everything.
Yeah. Do you remember Elvis
Yes,
at all? Do you remember running across Elvis?
I remember meeting him. One thing that I was trying to remember, Jeff, after the 1971 earthquake, there were several aftershocks, and it was really, really frightening. Elvis offered us his house in Palm Springs to go and to get away from all the aftershocks. Mm-hmm. Because it was either Elvis or Bob Hope.
Do you remember anything about Frank Sinatra at all?
Frank, I was around him a few times. I remember meeting him at the Santa Claus Lane Parade. They would have after parties like Max Baer, Lucille Ball, Liza Minnelli. It was funny because for some reason we were always seated with Liza, Desi, and Max Baer.
Wow.
It was a Zsa Zsa Gabor. I always thought, Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Wow.
What's he doing in this mix, right?
Wasn't Max Baer? That was Jethro on the Beverly Hillbillies, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, those are great days. Well, thank you so much for tossing a story or two in there, Kelli. And you want to say goodnight to Glen in a special way?
I love you, Daddy. Happy birthday.
That's perfect. Thanks so much, Kelli Campbell. Good to talk to you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay. Thanks for being with us for this celebration of Glen Campbell here on Count It Off, your podcast that looks into the world of music through the eyes of many people who have lived it and been part of it. Some great stories there from Glen Campbell's career, and thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.